Yo, what's good YouTube? I am back with another reaction video, and we got Larry Bird's top 5 seasons. Now, I think it was just Sportflix, the guy where I got this video from. So let's get straight into the video, y'all. Excuse me if you hear my air condition, but yeah, let's get straight into this video, y'all. Let's get straight into it. Appreciate all love and support to y'all, deeply appreciate it. Yeah, let's get straight into it.
Players we have ever seen in the NBA. In his 13 seasons in the NBA, Larry Bird is one of the best players we have ever seen in the NBA. In his 13 seasons in the NBA, Larry Legend won 3 titles with the Boston Celtics, as well as picking up 3 MVP awards. He formed one of the greatest rivalries in sports whenever Bird faced off against Magic Johnson. Bird was exceptional in all of his time in the NBA, but this list details his best 5 seasons in the NBA. But before we start, please just tap that subscribe button for more content like this. Number 5. The 1984 to 1985 season. Coming off the back of a second NBA title, expectations were very high for Larry Bird, as he was the reigning MVP and Finals MVP. A lot of people will look at the lack of a title as a reason why this season was a disappointment, but it was one of Bird's best individual seasons. Bird began the season in excellent form, scoring 48 points alongside 14 rebounds in a close win over the Atlanta Hawks on December 9th. Bird would once again have a brilliant game against the Hawks later in the season when he set the Celtics record for most points in a game with 60. This game remains the Celtics record to this day. His excellent individual performances contributed to some brilliant averages over the season. Bird averaged 28.7 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 6.6 assists across the whole regular season. A brilliant campaign that was well recognized. Bird was awarded his second straight MVP award, having led his Boston team to the #1 seed in the East. This meant Bird has a home run to get to the finals. Boston didn't have to worry throughout their road to the finals, never letting any of their 3 opponents get close. They had a clear path to the finals, and Bird performed excellently throughout these playoffs. Bird averaged 26 points per game throughout the playoffs as the Celtics came up against the Lakers in the finals. This was a Lakers team Bird was very familiar with, as it contained Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In the end, they proved to just be too much for Bird as the Celtics fell to the Lakers in 6 games. Despite no championship, the 1984-85 season was one of Bird's best. He continued to show his scoring prowess as well as his excellent ability to gobble up rebounds. A great season from Bird, even if it is without some of the achievements of his other seasons. Number 4. The 1986-1987 season. A big feature of Bird's career was his consistency with the Celtics, especially during his first 9 seasons with the team. He always put up big numbers alongside big minutes, with the 1986-87 season being a great example of this. Coming off the back of 3 straight MVP titles, many people expected exactly the same result, with Bird set to run it back once again with the defending champion Celtics. But this season turned into one of the most grueling seasons for Bird and the Celtics. The Celtics still managed to produce a pretty consistent team. Bird was surrounded by stars like Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, and future Celtics general manager Danny Ainge. It made up a core of aging stars, but still performing very well. Bird himself had a great year. He finished the season averaging 28.1 points and 9.2 rebounds per game. But Bird had 2 career-high stats this season. With a variety of scorers around him, Bird averaged 7.6 assists per game, the highest average of his career. Despite starting to deal with the reverberations of a back injury sustained from shoveling crushed rock at his mother's house, Bird put up his highest minutes ever. Larry Bird averaged 40.6 minutes per game. It was a huge effort from a 32-year-old Bird whose career minutes quickly lowered after this season. Incredibly, Bird's minutes per game increased during the playoffs, as the tall forward played 44.1 minutes per game in the Celtics' playoff run. It was a playoff run that was a lot more difficult than previous seasons. The Celtics' first round was a simple sweep of the 8-seed Bulls, led by a very young Michael Jordan. But the second round was much more difficult. The Celtics gave up a 3-1 lead as the Milwaukee Bucks forced a Game 7. But Bird's 31 points in Game 7 were more than enough to steer the Celtics through. In Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Bird's 35 points were not enough as they went to Game 7. But Bird put up an excellent 37 points in Game 7 as the Celtics advanced to the finals, where they met the Lakers. The Celtics were dealing with a lot of injuries by this point. Despite 2 home wins in the series, the Celtics just could not get past the Showtime Lakers. The Celtics were aging, and Bird's good performances throughout weren't enough for Boston. But it was still a brilliant season for Bird, one of the best in his career. Number 3, the 1987-1988 season. A year on from the Celtics' disappointment in the finals, Boston returned pretty much the same core as the previous year. Larry Bird, Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale, and Dennis Johnson were all back for another attempt at the title. They looked like a strong team, but Bird stood out way above his teammates. In a career year, Bird excelled particularly with his scoring. Bird was a consistent 20-plus points per game scorer, but this season was his best for scoring. Larry Bird averaged 29.9 points per game, which was a career high. It was not the most in the league as Bird was outscored by Michael Jordan, but it was still an incredibly impressive season from Bird and the Celtics. As a team, Boston topped the Eastern Conference, ahead of 2 incredibly successful young teams in the Bad Boy Pistons and the Michael Jordan-led Chicago Bulls. It was the second-best record in the whole league, 5 games behind the Lakers. Larry Bird himself was rightfully praised for an incredibly impressive season. Bird finished second in MVP voting. Interestingly, with the same number of first-place votes as rival Magic Johnson, but there were still other accolades that came his way. Bird was in the All-NBA first team, only missing out on 1 single voting point out of 160. Larry Bird also made the All-Star game, winning the three-point contest. All this led the Celtics to have some hope heading into the playoffs. The first round was a simple 4-game win against the Knicks, but things got very difficult for the Celtics in the next round. Boston came up against Dominique Wilkins and the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks pushed the Celtics to a Game 7. Boston had taken a 2-0 lead in the series, but lost 3 games in a row to give the Hawks the advantage in the series. Somehow, the Celtics managed to pull out back-to-back 2-point wins. Bird had an exceptional Game 7, scoring 34 points as the Celtics just about made it to an Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons. Spurred on by their loss at the same stage last season, the Pistons defeated the top-seeded Celtics in 6 games. It was a disappointing way for the season to end, but that shouldn't take away from an exceptional performance from Bird as he entered the twilight of his career. Number 2, the 1983-1984 season. Larry Bird was excellent throughout his entire career, but he really hit his prime in 1983-84. Larry had already won an NBA championship before this season, but 1983-84 was really his breakthrough season, as Bird became the best player in the NBA. Bird had been very close to the MVP award previously, finishing in second the prior season to Moses Malone. But Bird was back a year on and won the award. Not only did he win the MVP, but he dominated the voting. Bird received 52 first-place votes, with second-place Bernard King only getting 11. Larry Bird was clearly the best player in the NBA this season. His stats showed an impressive season. Bird finished the regular season averaging 24.2 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 6.6 assists per game. These were all career highs when he set them, with Bird's stats improving throughout the season. It was an impressive season that earned him more than just the MVP award. Bird became a 5-time All-Star, as well as making his 5th first-team All-NBA appearance. Larry Bird was also recognized for his defensive work, being on the NBA All-Defensive Second Team. All of this success also led to the Celtics finishing as the top seed in the East. A very impressive 62-win season meant the Celtics had a home playoff run to the finals, and the Celtics also had the best record in the league, with the Western Conference topping Lakers being 8 games behind the Celtics. This home advantage helped through the playoffs. Bird was exceptional as the Celtics stormed through the Eastern Conference to the finals. There was some difficulty in the conference semifinals. The New York Knicks took the Celtics to a Game 7, but Bird scored 39 points at the Boston Garden to secure the win. The final saw the first installment of the Lakers against the Celtics as Magic Johnson and Larry Bird battled it out for the title. It turned into an incredible series. The Lakers took a 2-1 lead and were at home for Game 4, but behind Larry Bird's 29 points, the Celtics won in overtime. After the Lakers claimed Game 6 in Los Angeles, it came down to a Game 7 in Boston. Bird did not play great in Game 7, but unlikely hero Cedric Maxwell scored 24 points as the Celtics won. Despite his poor performances in Game 7, Bird won Finals MVP to add to his regular season MVP. This was one of Bird's best seasons, and it deserves a high place on this list. Number 1. The 1985-1986 season. When you look back at Larry Bird's career, it is pretty clear that 1985-86 was his prime year, across an incredible career. Bird came into the season with huge expectations, as he was the reigning back.
Am I wrong? Did he say a couple? Well, let me just listen. I could have sworn he. Okay, let's just see. I just sworn it's like a repeat, but let me listen.
Back MVP, but the Celtics were coming off the back of a disappointing finals loss to the Lakers. It meant that the Celtics had a point to prove, and especially Bird. He absolutely proved his incredible quality in this season. Bird's regular season was very impressive, despite injuring his back in the 1985 offseason. Larry Bird finished the season with 25.8 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 6.8 assists per game. This may not have been Bird's best stats across his career, but he was certainly playing at his highest quality. This was shown by his individual awards and the team's success. Clearly recognized as the best player in the NBA, Larry Bird dominated MVP voting. In total, 78 first-place votes were awarded during voting. Bird got 37 of them. He was only 15 points off the maximum voting points he could have gotten. This is despite coming up against Dominique Wilkins, who scored more points per game. Bird was also awarded with another All-Star appearance and was once again on the All-NBA first team. All of this success was down to his team's brilliant performances. Incredibly, they only lost one game at home the entire regular season, finishing with a 40-1 home record. This contributed to a 67-15 record overall, by far the best team in the NBA. It gave the Celtics home court advantage in the playoffs, which turned out to be very helpful. Against the young Chicago Bulls team, Bird and the Celtics swept them to move on to the Hawks. It was a breeze with the Celtics advancing in 5 games. Many believed that the Terry Cummings-led Bucks would be a bigger problem. It was far from a problem for the Celtics, as they swept the Bucks. Bird scoring 30 points in Game 4. In the finals, they came up against the Houston Rockets, who had just surprised the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Despite the defense of Hakeem Olajuwon, the Celtics controlled the series. After the Rockets won Game 5, Boston had the chance to end the series in Game 6. At home, Bird put on a masterful performance. His 29-point triple-double was more than enough to secure a 17-point victory to give the Celtics another title. It was a classic Bird performance that helped him earn Finals MVP. These two accomplishments add to a brilliant season, which is definitely Bird's best.
All right, we wrap it up there, yeah. I say yeah. Wrap it up there, y'all. On to the next video, but I could have sworn he kind of repeated, or maybe I wasn't going to go back because I know this is a long video, so, but I'm definitely check it out. But I could have sworn that he kind of repeated some things, but I think they just put different information. Anyway, man, subscribe if you're new, hit that like button, turn on that bell, man. I'm uploading every single day, and deeply appreciate all the support y'all been showing me, man. And yeah, definitely got some more videos dropping, so definitely look out for that. I got another good video after this. And yeah, that's about it. I'm about to get straight on to the next video, man. If y'all got some videos you want me to do, leave them down in the comments down below, or you can send them to my email at DATPHILLYBOINAH@gmail.com. And that's about it, y'all. Appreciate y'all so much, man. I deeply appreciate y'all. And yeah, I'm out. On to the next video, y'all. Peace.